Alright, so in this video I'm going to be going over how to improve emulators. This is for Intel processors mainly, but some of this can be applied to other processors, of course, so follow me here. The first thing we're going to do is reinstall Intel HAXM. Uninstall it. Alright, done. Okay, I'm going to reinstall it now. Okay, so when I reinstall it, I can set the RAM I want to allow. For whatever reason, you can't do this when you install Android Studio initially. I don't know why. Alright, done. Alright, I'm going to make a new AVD. Going to use Pi 28 x86. Alright, so I'm in my user folder on Windows, Android, AVD, and this is oh man, hopefully this is the right one. Seems right to me. Yep. Okay. So first thing I have to do is start it as is. And just kind of a disclaimer, everyone's devices and configurations will be different. Like for example, mine, certain things I'm not going to do because I know beforehand they don't work well on my device or whatever, but they might work well on someone else's device. Some of these tips have been recommended to me by clients. You guys, I really appreciate that. So feedback is great. Okay, so let me check what it's using here. So it's using a lot of CPU right now to initialize this instance. Now this is the first boot. What the fuck? Plant's falling apart. Okay, anyways. Shit. Scared the shit out of me, man. Alright, so you can see it's settling down a little bit, but it's still not great. So, obviously the first, reinstalling Intel HAXM helped a lot, obviously. But if you open anything up like Snapchat or Chrome, it's gonna spike, and we need to eliminate that. And so here's a couple ways to do it. Now that that's been initialized, you can see in this folder there's a lot more than there was before if you're paying attention. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this down. If this gets stuck or takes 20 minutes, just hit the X. The key is to make sure that this process, x86, right, is gone. You see, that's the key there. You can even end task on it, whatever. Just, be careful to some extent. Now I can edit the config associated with that. And there's a couple things I can do here, okay? There's actually a lot you can do. You can turn audio input off. You can change the number of cores from what 4 to 2 to 1, whatever. I wouldn't go less than 2. For me on my computer, it doesn't work well with 4. So I mean with 2, so I'm gonna stick to 4, and it still works great. The actual RAM size, I find that it does really well at 720. It ends up using about half of that for whatever reason. So I just do those two on this, and then I save. Now I'm going to cold boot it. I'm going to go here, cold boot now. Okay, and it should spike a little less. You can see the RAM is way down. That's good. And it's really stable. Alright, so the next trick here, system, about, build number. Just click it into your developer. I'm going to look for GPU. This is the easy way to get here. GPU. Just get in that general area. Kind of scroll around or just search Force 4X. Enable that. Sometimes this may not work on everyone's devices, but you can see it just improved my performance insanely. I'm down, 2 to 5% CPU, 400 megabytes of RAM. That's just crazy. So I'm pretty stoked with that. Still totally functional, usable. I'm gonna install Snapchat. See, it spikes a bit with Chrome, but not anywhere near at a spike that would cause a problem. I also haven't restarted it, so that's one trick. One thing about that force mode is it may not work and it may not stick, so you may have to kind of turn it on as you need it. Just a heads up. But even with that, I got a better trick now. So in Salamander and Swan, I added a setting called no camera mode. And I'm going to go over what that does right now. First, I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so if I enable this no camera mode, save settings. I'm going to go ahead and automatically install Snapchat on this real quick. Okay, so I'm going to click the pencil here, show advanced settings, camera, webcam 0, webcam 0. If your webcam is a real webcam, block it off with a piece of tape or just do none, right? For me, webcam 0 seems to work excellent, especially on a VPS, right? Hit me up about that if you have questions. And this RAM is still going to show what it thinks it's using, but the config is overriding that. So don't worry too much. Excuse me. Okay, so now I've set this to use webcam 0 for both cameras. I'm going to go ahead and start it. It should cold boot because I changed the config. Yeah. Okay. Should pop up here in Swan when it finishes booting here. Very nice. That was a really quick boot. So right now I'm using 62%. Let's see what it gets down to here. Okay, not bad, not bad. Let's see if that graphic settings stuck. Something tells me it didn't stick. Nope, didn't stick. Okay, that helps. So just, that's a really good setting. Make sure that's off, or that's on, I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and install Snapchat now. Should pop up here in a second. Let's see what kind of usage we're using for that. Much better. Okay, so Snapchat's installed. Okay, so you see this message right here? You can see right now we have Snapchat loaded on the home screen, and we're using only 31% CPU or whatever. That's really good considering the amount of notifications I have backed up on this, yada yada, right? So I think if I were to enable more RAM, it would use less CPU. I'm not quite sure I would play with that, but that's really good. So really what this allows me to do is, if I were to be opening this right now and this was emulated, it would be 30-40% as we saw before. So this no camera mode, basically what it does is, instead of clicking cancel or exit, it just assumes that these first base actions like clicking friends or scheduling a story down here, right, it clicks once and then it does it again, right? So that's kind of the gist of it. Once again, you know, kind of like a double click but with proper delay. So that's really what it does. So it allows you to take advantage of this. So I'm going to try to clone these, or kind of like, yeah, I'm going to try to clone this, see how many we can do right now. Oh, actually, I need to go over one more setting. It's called skip check. Okay, so right here in this setting, and it's a little different in Salamander, but basically what this does is, some phones, especially USB phones, they have a large amount of packages or package resources. And so when they get listed, because the app verifies that Snapchat's installed before it does anything, it can take too long. And so to remedy that, it was requiring increasing, you know, local timeouts, and that slowed down other actions. So I added the options to bypass that check, because, you know, you probably know Snapchat's installed. So for me, I like it, but it's just a good feature. Just a heads up. If you have questions, let me know, of course. Alright, so that basically concludes the video. I'm going to try to make another video right now, try to spin up some more of these devices and see how many I get going, and just kind of do some tests. But you can see that's much better. We have an instance running at 1 or 1. It's like, that's ridiculous. So, and even with the actions, not even spiking bad. So I'm really happy with that. It's stable, extremely stable. Alright, we'll leave it there. If you don't have Snapchat Swan or Snapchat Salamander, you can buy these at a very good price, stormobservers.com. Hit me up on Skype or Discord if you have any questions. Those contacts are in the dash. Have a good one. Good luck with your campaigns.